Hello, everybody, and welcome. Lesli Bitel here, business coach and mentor. And I am here with Miss Kathy Lowe, and I'm really excited. Kathy, welcome.
Welcome. I'm excited too.
Yeah, this will be a really interesting and definitely a worthwhile conversation for everyone that's joining us. So, again, welcome if you are joining us live. If that is the case, give me a comment. Let me know where you're from and a little bit about your practice, right? Specifically, let me know if you've ever tried to run ads. I think that would be a really a great place to start for our conversation today. All right, so everyone, again, Lesli Bitel here. I am joined by Kathy Lowenstern, otherwise known as Kathy Lowe Knows.
Right.
And
Kalo, because my
Kathy
last
Lowe.
so long. People call me Kalo or Kathy Lowe.
Oh, I love it. I love that. So let me give you a quick overview on our conversation today. So we've got a lot of incredible content in store for you. I think it'll be extremely valuable, especially given that I know many of you are planning to launch in January, right? January is the time of year where, especially in health. So many of you are planning to launch group programs, online courses, and really start 2023 very strongly. So we are going to talk about how to go about doing that, even if you have a small list, which is, honestly the case for many people. So we are going to talk about how to build what we call a monster list for your next launch. And I love that. I want a monster list.
Yeah, you're on your way.
So here's specifically what we're going to touch on. We're going to talk about how to use various types of ads to build your list. And I'm going to preface this by saying, guys, now is the time. If you've got a launch in January, we need to hit the ground running like right now to prepare.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's the key. Like time is it's right now. We're going to talk about the best way to nurture your audience. So once you get them on your list, how do you go about nurturing? How to have a successful launch, even with a tiny list, and of course, much more. So with that, again, welcome, Kathy. So Kathy and I love it when we have a chance to reconnect. We go back years now.
Right. Yeah.
And,
I'm friends, really.
so you guys have maybe heard me talk about how one of the best parts of being in a mastermind or like a group program, depending on how it's laid out, oftentimes you meet your BFFs, right? Your like business soulmates in these programs. And definitely the case with Kathy and I. So we met, is it about maybe at least 5 years? I mean, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years, yeah. Probably 6 years, and then 5 years we met in person at the
right. That's
Had
true.
I met you before? I don't think I'd met you in person before that.
No, I don't think so. But we met in a mastermind in Los Angeles, and then became fast friends. And the other part is Kathy does my Facebook ads. So she's been running my ads for me year round on Instagram and Facebook. So she is, in my opinion, the go-to expert in this arena. So I'm really super excited and happy to welcome Kathy and host her so she can share her nuggets of knowledge with all of you. Because guys, I really want you to be prepared and really start the process now to do a successful launch in January. All right, Kathy. So where do we start?
I think we start with just the mindset of having a list. And when we talk list, I broaden it to say audience. You really want, and it's something you really want to be doing every single day, right? Yeah. And the audience is anyone who knows about your business and touches your business. It can be your people that you're connected to on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, people that at networking events, anyone that you can reach out to. And the hub of that, and the reason why we say list, is your email list.
Right.
And the reason why is that the email list is the only asset currently that you can own, right? You have those email addresses. You can move them from, if you're on ConvertKit, you can move them to MailChimp, to any platform you want. Whereas your Instagram followers, your LinkedIn followers, your Facebook followers, you can't do that. You're at the mercy of the platform. And also, even to reach 100% of them, as a lot of people know, you kind of throw, when you organically post, you don't know what percentage of people you're going to reach. And same with LinkedIn or Instagram. And even if you buy ads, you never know what percentage of people you can reach. Whereas with an email list, when you send an email, you can send it to 100% of people.
Right.
So,
So that
and the reason,
that is a
yeah,
thing I just want to emphasize. I know that anyone that's listened to my content or anything that I've done, I always
uh-huh,
emphasize the importance of moving your people from social media onto your own email list. So I really want to emphasize the importance of that. Social media is amazing in that it
yeah,
allows you to expand your reach well beyond what you otherwise would be able to do, right? But at the end of the day, you don't own it.
right,
You don't own it. Anything can happen.
right,
You must get your people onto your email list. So that is really the key here. And really, to have a successful launch, it's critical to have an email list. So really want to
absolutely.
emphasize that part. So that being said, how do we go about doing that, Kathy? Where would you recommend that we start? And by the way,
Well,
oh, I was just going to say in the comments, if you guys could let me know. So Hannah says, "Oh, from Finland. Wow,
welcome.
welcome. That's awesome." So my married name is Koskela, very Finnish. Um, so Hannah says, yes, she has tried Facebook ads. Okay. I'd also
Great.
so let me know in the comments, where you're from and if you've tried ads yet, and give
Hmm.
us a little bit of insight as to where you are in building your own list, right? Are you
Yeah.
trying to move people from social media to your list? Is that kind of a mystery? Just kind of give us a little insight there.
Okay. Yeah. So the first place, I mean, you start building your list is just organically. When you go to events, you hand out your card, you get people's lists, you send them an email, introduce yourself. Hey, is it okay if I put you on your list? I mean, that can feel, even if you meet people in groups, ask people if you can put them, if they'll be on your list, and that you can send them updates and information, promotions. Probably the standard, easiest, automated way to build your list is to offer something to someone. And so it's known as a lead magnet or a freebie. You may have like talked about it or heard about it. And essentially what it is you're giving someone some kind of gift in return for their email and potentially someday their phone number, their text number. Because I think eventually text will, and that's something is text yet isn't a place where I think you can do mass promotions yet. It's they're starting to be it.
Mm.
And I do believe it one day will be when someone creates the equivalent of an inbox for text, and then it can be sorted through junk, but we're not here yet. So, and certainly in these categories in health, I wouldn't worry about it. But something to know again why you have your email list, because it just nests so nicely with where the future is going.
Okay.
So anyway, so we've got your freebie. You give something of value in exchange for your either name and email and any other information that's pertinent. But what I think like to think deeper on your lead magnet, it's not just a gift that somebody's gonna, you think of like what's the most enticing, exciting opportunity I can offer. But really, it's like something to get to know you, because your lead magnet is kind of the first date, and it's someone's first experience with you, your philosophy, your personality, your working style, and you're using it to just as a way to build that know, like, and trust factor, and someone ultimately wanting to work with you. And so that's another reason why it's really important. It's not just like get someone on your list, but it's also get someone who's familiar with you and someone who likes you.
Right.
And so you can offer this the way most people do it is you create a landing page on a web, on a web page where someone can go and sign up for it, and then they get automatically added to your email list. And again, you can do that organically. You can have links that you can drop, and when you go, you can put it on your business cards. When you go to networking events, you can, if you're a speaker, you can have it listed under speaker profile. On social media, you can offer it in groups. You can offer it in organic posts. And the way to really scale it, and this is why I'm here, and to automate it, is to use paid ads. And the reason why paid ads is because you can determine how many people see it per day, how much money you spend behind it. You can start, once you start having experience with that, you can also start driving it, what it costs to
Mhm.
get one person on your list. And why it's so important to build your email list. One is what I talked about, kind of this first date, like getting someone to have an experience with you, and getting them familiar with you and incentivizing them and making them excited to work with you. It's also, when you build by building your list, you're building your messaging. You're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what messages people respond to. Because so often we think we understand our audience, we know exactly what they like. And then when we go out and start promoting something, and it falls, it doesn't do as well as we thought it would. A lot.
Never happened to me though.
Oh, right. I know. Nobody ever hears crickets. It's often because we just haven't tweaked that messaging. We just haven't figured out exactly, it's like the game of golf. Like, you're just off, you can be off a millimeter, and
Right.
you lose the game, or you lose the hole, or whatever. I mean, I'm not, it is. And so that's the same with marketing and selling, is that you could just be off by a conjunction, if you will, right, or just one or two words, and it makes a big difference. And when you go out there and you really promote something like a lead magnet, which again is like just you're promoting yourself, you start figuring out that. And that's why it's so important. In addition to building an audience, you're building that experience and you're building that familiarity, so you really understand how to talk to people. So when you're ready to launch, you're a pro. Because so many times people come to me and say, a month before their launch, even, I need
Right.
to build my list because I'm launching. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, we don't know how much it's going to cost. It can be really expensive to just, there's, and it can be really expensive. I'll explain why. But also, and many times you just haven't nailed that messaging, and people aren't familiar, and you haven't nurtured your audience. So that's why list building needs to be something that you're doing every day, because also your messaging is going to change as trends change, as people's experiences change. The marketplace changes, and when you're continually um, advertising and promoting yourself, you become aware. That becomes part of your DNA.
Okay.
So
Now,
another reason,
yeah,
yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead. Keep going.
So, and another reason why we want to start building our list right away is because, let's say you have $1,000 to spend building your list, and you may say, I'm just going to wait, and you want to launch in January, because it is true. I mean, everybody has a New Year's resolution, and health and wellness. I mean, that's the season. You want to go out guns blazing, because that's when people are most interested. There's a big difference between spending $1,000 over a year versus $1,000 in a month.
Oh, tell us.
So the reason why is because, if you just I primarily use Facebook and Instagram. So if you just throw a lot of money at them, they may not have the audience all in one day or all in one month for you to get the lowest cost. And so it's going to cost a lot more money. Whereas if you spread it out over time and you have a small amount every day, Facebook can definitely find the best audience, meaning the least expensive audience, because that's what they do, is they try and find someone who matches, who's interested in what you're doing, and will opt in for your lead magnet, and they try and find them at the lowest possible cost. And
Okay.
if you give them a lot of money and they have to do a lot at one time, they just can't. So usually lower day, and it frustrates. I have a client who's like, lower daily budgets always work better than one big monthly budget.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that really speaks to the idea that we really should be doing this really year round,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, I mean, Leslie, you do it.
Yeah, and that is what I do, and I've done that for
You do it.
years. So instead of having like this mad dash, like, oh my God, I'm launching in a month, I need new people. we kind of take the slow and steady approach, right?
That's, you know what, the turtle wins for sure when it comes to list building every day, and to this experience of, as people, the perspectives are changing, people's mindsets changing, you're in the market, you're seeing what happens. Also, Facebook is really understanding who your audience is and who is drawn to you as a person, to your brand, to your messaging. And so as they do that, then that means the ads for your launch can also work a lot better, because they need time to get smarter. And so if you do it consistently, your ads work better. But also, like, once someone's on your list, the most important thing we can do is nurture those people.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. It's like, okay, a first date's great. We've all come home, like, we're like, this is the person I'm going to marry, right? And then over time, it's like, maybe not. Or maybe you come home and you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure. But you go on some more dates and they warm you up, and then you're sure. And
Mhm.
that's what, consistently nurturing your list is like, is that you're building in this excitement, you're building in this interest, you're giving people reasons to want to stick with you and follow your message. And then, prior to your launch, you want to start getting people excited and teasing them with what's coming up and building up that excitement. Because the most successful launches happen when someone has a warm audience. In fact, it's almost impossible. And that warm audience is like the hub of it is your email list. And then, your other audiences, whether it's your Instagram followers, your Facebook followers, your website visitors, those are also part of it. But the key part is the list, and that's who you're launching to. I mean, rarely, like with your launches, Leslie, we'll do like 90% to a warm audience, and
Mhm.
then 10% some list building, and even 10% to a cold audience, and even that's like early in the launch when you've got like your webinars, like we'll promote it to a cold audience. But primarily, it's really taking those people who already know you, who've been, following your news. You send out a weekly email, or you do the Facebook lives. All those people are part of the audience that we target for your launches, and that's why they're so successful.
Okay. So that's pretty significant right there. Um, so we got a couple questions here. Well, Hannah commented that she has about 1,500, which is
Which is
awesome
awesome. Yeah.
too. So then the question is, are you nurturing them, right? So
Yeah.
are developing that relationship with your list in preparation for a launch? So I'd be curious to know more there. Did you have a comment on that, Kathy?
Yeah, I have a couple comments. That's awesome. And I think Hannah, congratulations. And the biggest mistake people do is they stop nurturing them because they get busy, or they get discouraged, and they feel like this just isn't working. And
Hmm.
what I have to say is, like, banish that thought. Just believe, because they are watching, and even if they're not taking action, they're thinking about it. And trust me, somebody's going to come out of the blue and surprise you. And so you just have to know that big companies have big lists or have big audiences, and you just have to stick with it. And then, with for whatever reason that you stop, or you take a break, or there's something, that goes on in your personal life that you have to take a hiatus, don't be shy about jumping back in. And also, never apologize. Like, I see emails where people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I've been away." No, just be confident, just come back in someone's email box, because chances are they may not have even noticed. Like, maybe you're not top of mind anymore, but
Yeah.
they haven't thought, like, where's Hannah? Why hasn't she
Right.
emailed me in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Don't, just take that position of strength. Like, here I am, here's what I have, here's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's a great point.
So,
I know we have talked a little bit about this, Kathy, but for people that are just kind of starting this process,
yeah.
where, well, first of all, which platform is your favorite? And any other recommendations that you might have for someone that's in the early stages of list building?
So I think, if you're starting out, don't get hung up on what platform. I think that ConvertKit is a great place to start, and Mailchimp is also good. So either one, whichever one, I'd get in there and just see, but don't spend a lot of time like figuring out the pricing or which is better, or it just doesn't matter. What matters is that you're consistently, you know, emailing your list after they sign up.
Yep. Yep. And Hannah is motivated to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. You won't be sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Not at all.
consistent. Even if you don't get, because this is a long game. I think it's really
For
important
sure.
to know it is a long game. And the reality is, and my team reminds me of this all the time because they love looking at like, kind of the behind the scenes statistics. And
Uh-huh.
they're amazed at, like people are on my list for a long time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, I'm ready, you know? And so even if you think that things are not working, just have faith that people are watching, right? And sometimes it just takes a little time before they make that decision to move forward and reach out.
I mean, I 1,000 times yes. Like you cannot stress enough that when it feels like crickets, it's not. You just have to have the faith that people are watching, they're clicking. Even if they're not clicking, they're seeing your subject line. It's just one more impression. They really are thinking about it. And over time, you really are making a difference in their lives and you're making a difference in the opinion of them. And it is a really long game.
It
But
is.
and
So
I
just
think
stay
yeah,
consistent. Keep doing it.
keep doing it and have like and it's hard, it can be hard when you don't, you put out an offer and you don't get the response you want, but I think you have to have the mindset that it is working, what I'm doing has value, and people will come forward. And if you have that energy, especially when you're writing your emails and you're emailing your list, like it comes through.
Mhm.
So, and when I say to, I think the question we have is like, what do you do with a tiny list? I shouldn't do anything. I have a tiny list. And the first of all is never think of your list in the pejorative. Like nothing is, even if it's small, it's not bad because small things become, small trees become big trees, right? Like, and we were all once a baby. I mean, we love babies. So it's fine if it's small. I think what I tell people is that, you know, it means high touch. So if you have a smaller list, it means you can pay more attention to your list. It means you can reach out to people individually. You can email
Hmm,
them. You can make offers and really take advantage of that nurturing that someone with a much larger list just doesn't have the luxury to do.
I love that.
So I think of yourself as a boutique. If yeah, it's a boutique list. I just
Ooh,
versus a mall list, right? You like
a
that?
high touch boutique
So
list. That's a really
yeah,
good way to think of it, actually. I like that.
let's take it. Do you have a boutique list?
Okay. Yeah, where you can,
Right.
make it more personalized, do
Mhm.
more honestly, and I will say for launching, it's those personal reach outs that make the world of difference. Seriously.
Right.
Even if you have a gigantic list, and guys, it's
Right.
relative. Like my definition of gigantic is probably not the same as, I don't know, Amazon, right?
Right, 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 or CNN or
I'm pretty sure there's like, so you see it's relative. Um, but even if you do have a relatively large list, it doesn't mean, well, let me rephrase that. It does mean you still need to find ways to do personal reach outs to fill your programs,
right,
right? I
right,
think that is a
right.
tactic that moves the lever on these launches.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's like we probably shouldn't even think of our list as any kind of size. It just like the Buddha is like it's not big or small, it just is. This is my list
Mhm.
and I'm going to do the best job I can with it. I'm going to give them the most service and be of the most value to them. And when it's time to do my launch, this is who I'm talking to. And then same with like expanding your list, it's a daily
Mhm.
practice. And it's something that you think about every day and how do I give value to my audience? And then how do I expand
Okay. So
my
it guys,
audience?
it's
How
a
do I find the people who
strong
really want me?
thought process. I would say every single day, right? Nurture.
Absolutely. That's what your business is predicated on that. The people that, who are your who love you, follow you, purchase you, and then all the potential people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yes.
So what about, let's talk more about ads then. Okay. So,
Okay.
I think one of the big questions, and so a whole bunch of questions, but I know the common ones that I get are
Okay.
how much should I spend?
Right.
And I'd also like to kind of go under the hood a little bit and talk about, the types of
Okay.
ads and like the
Okay.
different calls to action, right? Like what exactly are we, where are we sending people and like what is our objective?
Right, right. So the great thing about ads is that you can spend as little as, $5 a day and make
And again,
and by the end of the year have a sizable.
you could,
Oh, sorry. So you can. I always suggest starting out small when you start your ad spend, and you could spend $5 to $10 a
okay,
day to start getting a sense of like how much it's going to cost you to build your list, because for every business that cost is different because it matters who their audience is, what their message is, and what their brand, personality
okay,
is. But $5 to $10 a day is a great way to get started, understand what those costs are, and at the same time, you're building your list. So it doesn't have to be a big expense at all.
okay,
The other thing is within Facebook, there's a couple different options. The kind of the traditional option is that you offer a freebie in the ad and you send people to a web page where they can sign up, and then they either they either have the download on the thank you page or they receive it in their email inbox, which, great way to do it. But for some people, it can be a hurdle to be able to build those landing pages. Either the cost, or you're not really sure what your message is or which freebie is going to appeal. So you don't want to spend a lot of time and money building those landing
yeah,
pages. And Facebook has this really great, and LinkedIn actually has as well,
huh?
has this great option called lead ads.
Mm,
And it's where the landing page, if you will, so somebody click, you have the message, get my free guide, you click I want it, and rather going to a separate web page, you're actually in Facebook on their page. You fill out the form on Facebook. Facebook captures all the information for you. So you never leave either
okay.
Facebook or
What is
Instagram.
that called?
And the great thing is that it's all built within the ad. So you don't have to build any landing pages. You don't have to worry about the pixel. You don't have
Oh, so
to,
much
right?
easier. Like, this
Yeah.
is huge. So,
It's a lot easier from that standpoint.
yeah,
The little trick is that since Facebook has the people who've signed up for your list, you have to get them into your email list provider. So if you're using ConvertKit, so there's two ways you can do it. You can just download the list from Facebook, super easy to do. It's a CSV file, and you import it into ConvertKit. Or there's a tool called Zapier that will automate it for you. That's actually pretty easy to use, and it takes the Facebook lead ads when somebody signs up, sends them into ConvertKit. You specify which freebie they get, what email they get, and it's done.
okay. I love that. So, what
Yeah,
is
so
that
that's
called? Like under the hood, when you're
in
creating,
Facebook.
yeah, like what is that type of ad called?
They changed the name, but it's called like lead ads or lead generation ads.
Okay. All right. So is everyone clear on that? I mean, this is pretty cool, especially those of you that are newer,
Yeah,
where maybe you don't have a landing. Does everyone know what a landing page is? Like a registration. It's like the page that you create um, to, I guess, promote your freebie, right? So like you can build those on ConvertKit, with a little bit
right.
of tech skill. But
Yeah,
it's super cool that Facebook is giving you the option to kind of omit that entire step, right?
right,
So, like, let's just say
right.
that
It makes it a lot easier.
it does. So, those of you, let's just say you hunker down today, okay, and you create a freebie. Let's just say it's a 3-day meal plan to help people with
Right,
hypothyroidism or something like that, right? So
right, right, right,
plan. You put a little note in the front about, who you are and welcome the person. And then you've got a nice little, bio at the end with a call to action.
right,
Boom, done. So now what we're suggesting is that you can use this type of Facebook ad like immediately. You don't have to go and figure out how to create a landing page and all the stuff,
right,
right? I
right.
think that's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah,
landing page. Okay, so landing page, I know, but this ad. that we're talking about, she didn't know. Yeah, I think it's fairly new, right?
Okay.
It's
Yeah, it's
a new
called
thing. Yeah. And what is it called?
eh, pretty
Sorry.
it's either they either call it a lead, they may have changed the name recently, but they're either called lead
Okay.
ads or lead generation. Like the objective I think is lead generation.
Okay. Okay. So that's where you pick this type of ad, lead
Yeah.
generation. Okay.
So Facebook just recently changed this. So I don't know if it's since you're in Finland, if you have there's so many different versions, when
Oh,
they're
right.
testing things. So the objective now, it used to be conversion objective. So now what they have is the objective is leads, and you could choose whether you're sending someone to a web page or what they call an instant form.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And the instant form is this substitute or in lieu of your landing pages. They fill out the form on Facebook, and then it goes to, I guess, then you have the leads within Facebook. You download them or have them sent to
Okay.
your email
Kind of
provider.
the
So
cool thing about this is, so I'm thinking out loud here, right? Is, one of the things you and I have talked about
yeah,
is, how do we really track ROI, on
right,
ad spend? Because with all the privacy, with Facebook, sometimes it's challenging to track who comes from these ads and do they end up becoming buyers, right? So
right,
so it seems like this would solve that conundrum.
right. Well, because you know exactly who's opted in, right? Because you have them associated, right? Versus Facebook giving you the data. So
Right.
yes, you know that, and you can compare those lists to your buyer lists.
Yeah.
So obviously it saves a lot of time. The other really great advantage is it makes it so easy to test. So you
Mm,
can test a lot of messaging, you test what freebie you want to offer,
okay.
you can have some real experience under your belt. And once you figure out, where you're landing or what your audience wants, then you can decide, okay, I want to go back to having them go to a website, fill out the information, because there's some advantages to sending people to the website. Or you may decide, hey, I'm going to stick with lead ads because, I already have it built. I don't have to spend any time or money. It's working. And
Is there any downside?
yeah, there's a couple of downsides. So the one big downside is that sometimes it's so easy to opt in that you get people who like forgot they opted in. And so what the recommendation is to add a few questions, because you have a form on Facebook, so you can add questions that people ask. You can ask them, if they've, what their current situation is, what their job is, what if they have any, health concerns, if there's anything else they've tried. So
Okay. So wait, what's the downside to that?
it's too easy for people to opt in, and so sometimes they forget.
Oh, so
They're like, wait, especially if it's like book a call. Some people use the form to rather than just for a free
okay. All right. I
book
was
a call.
easy sounds
And so,
like a upside, not a downside. Okay.
yeah, sometimes it can be
Wait,
too easy.
wait,
Well,
what
you can
am I
get
missing?
like, but
Okay.
that's really the
Maybe
downside.
so maybe then the leads aren't as committed.
Right,
'Cause
right.
there's like zero skin in the game, right? Like zero effort. But what
There's
you're
little,
saying
yeah,
is
exactly, because it's all
unless
filled. Yeah, exactly,
okay,
exactly.
so
So
unless
you just have to work harder to get
yeah,
them.
yeah, they used to have to like click the link and go, okay,
Right.
now it's just easier, right? And is it easier? I mean, they still have to fill in their name and email though, right?
Right, but a lot of times Facebook autofills it.
Oh,
So there's a couple things. Facebook autofills it and there's no latency. So a lot of times, you know how you click on a
yeah.
link in Facebook or Instagram and it takes a while. It can take, a while in internet time, right? But
Yeah.
relatively speaking. And so somebody may get distracted or fed up, and they're like, whatever, or it looks really different. There's a lot of reasons why someone may drop out between your ad and your web page.
Okay,
So
but what you're saying is you can compensate by asking them a couple of questions.
yeah,
I think is great.
yeah,
Like in our case, we've been asking what is your designation, just so I have a better
right,
understanding of who is joining my list, right? Like, are you a dietitian? Are you a medical doctor? Are you a naturopathic doctor? Are you
right.
a coach, right? Like, I think So it has the upside of you being able to collect really, really good data. I love that.
Right.
Now,
That's a really good
and
part of
it's
it.
my understanding that the cost is lower. Is that
They tend to be a lot.
it can
Yeah.
be lower? Okay.
They tend to be lower because Facebook really favors that. I mean, Facebook tries to keep everybody on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
and so
Oh,
that
right.
I think that so that can be lower. And then also the fact that it's just easier for someone because there's no lag time. It's easier to fill out. And so, it's really optimized for mobile. And so all of that makes for a lower cost per lead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, I got it from their perspective. They don't really want us to be running ads where we're going to click on
Right, right, right.
site or Leslie's website. They want to keep you. Okay, I got
They
it.
want to keep you. That's why they have the stores now. I mean, they want you. They don't want anybody
Yeah,
else. The meta universe. I mean,
they want to keep you on the
all of
platform.
that is the
Okay,
master
so they're
plan.
going
So
to make it
yeah,
organically
exactly.
more attractive for you to do these types of ads to keep people. Got it. Got to be something in it
Yeah,
for them, right?
exactly, exactly. You got to think like the master. So
All
that's
right.
good.
Um, okay, so hey, Lauren, how are you? So Lauren says, I'm brand new to list building. Is there a way to mock this up to learn the lead generation process before spending money? Ooh, well, it seems to me, I don't know if you can share anything right now, Kathy, but Kathy and I were just talking about really, I think the need for her and I to do a workshop on this topic, right? Where we go under
Right,
the hood and show you how to do this step by step.
right, and just work through and actually put together your lead. Put together yes your opt-in page and your thank you page, and show you how you can how you have a link to Lauren's point, before you spend money on ads,
Yeah,
what you want to do is distribute that link in your, all the networking and groups that you're in. And that's a great way to start getting people clicking on it, making sure the tech works, they're getting the guide, getting some feedback before you start spending money.
right. So,
That's how I would do Lauren is to get like ConvertKit, build some land, build if you can, build the pages, put your freebie in there, and then distribute it organically. Send it to your friends, your colleagues.
okay. So, yeah, is there anything that you can share right now, Kathy, to help Lauren get started? Or is that it's kind of a big question, right?
Well, I mean, I think what I would do is I would choose, an email service provider, either ConvertKit or Mailchimp. I think Mailchimp also has landing pages, but ConvertKit for sure has them. They're easy to use.
Yeah,
So build a landing page with your offer. I assume you already have a freebie, but if you don't, you need to decide on a freebie or a few freebies to test. So build the page, and that on the page you're going to offer, have language that offers the freebie, and it's a place for them to add their name and email address. And when they click through, and ConvertKit has, I think, the process set up, they get taken to a thank you page,
yeah.
which tells them to check their email, or sometimes you can even have it where your freebie is actually there, it's already available, and you send them to the email in case they miss it. But and then you'll have a link as part of you'll have a link as part of that,
Mhm.
that is the link to the landing page, and that's what you're going to want to distribute.
All right, Katie. Katie,
Wow, you got it. That's what I've been talking about forever. But it'd be a few hour workshop where we would really just give you,
okay.
like, help you get it to get, not get it together, but put together your landing pages and make sure that they're connected in such a way so that when somebody does sign up, they get the email with the freebie. Like everything's working.
Okay. All right. You guys are motivating me.
Yeah. And then we can show you how to do that. If you want to do the lead ads, that's also that also is really hard to do on your own. I mean, it's not difficult, but it can be very technical and complex. And so it just using the Facebook Ads Manager. But once you know how to do it, I think it's relatively simple.
Hmm. Is there anything that we're missing, Kathy, that we promised to talk about?
Um,
Let's look at
I
our
don't
list.
let's see, you know.
What other questions do you guys have? I think some of you are really just getting started. So I'm getting the sense that a workshop where we can actually show you step by step is going to be super helpful.
Yeah.
So we'll have to decide on a date, Kathy, and get this
Okay.
going. Um, so
We could do it in the next couple of weeks, you know, so people get ready.
okay, I'd be game. Let's do
Okay.
it.
We'll talk about
Let's
it.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, let's
Let's
do
get
it.
it
A
going.
list party.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to add, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts are is that is that it can be like it can be overwhelming, and you just have to get started. You just have to get doing it. And if you don't have like a lead magnet yet, at least start collecting names.
Yeah.
And because you can upload, you know, you don't even have to upload them in a CSV, which is, you know, a type of spreadsheet. You can add them manually into
Yeah.
like when I first started building my list, I mean, I was collecting names on a piece of paper and typing them into. I was using Constant Contact at the time and typing them into Constant Contact. I mean, that's
You
where.
totally can do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can be old school and it works. And
Just get started. I
yeah, exactly.
so this is something that comes up in my conversations with clients is should I do Google ads or Facebook ads?
You know, I think for now, Facebook and Instagram ads are a lot better. And the reason why is unfortunate, like long, long, long ago, before there was even a Facebook, Google ads were great for entrepreneurs. And what happened is all these big companies with their statisticians just like bought every single keyword. And so for an entrepreneur to compete on that is just really hard.
Okay.
And so I think Facebook, you know, where Google is good is where people are at the bottom of the funnel, meaning they're like ready to buy. They're looking for a car, they're looking, you know, and so, or they're looking for something local, you know, local. Where is a grocery store in X or a cafe? And so that's where Google ads can be really helpful. But I think when you're just building awareness, Facebook and Instagram are a lot better. And you know, it's funny because the person who built Facebook ads built Google ads,
Oh,
and she
interesting.
saw what happened. This is Sheryl Sandberg, saw what happened. And so they really had this focus of keeping Facebook and Instagram ads accessible to small businesses. And that's why they still are.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And
Okay.
yeah.
So like what you're saying is I'm not sure what you mean by they bought all the keywords, but yeah, what is
So
that?
like for instance, Target, okay. So the way Google ads work is that you bid on keywords. And so you'll bid for like you know, if like somebody has like hypothyroid, you would bid for that word. So if somebody types in hypothyroid, you know, that keyword at this may cost, you know, $1. And
Yep.
so
Per click,
every
right?
time, you know, somebody clicks on that,
Okay.
I think so. They may have CPM now, but they used to have per click.
Yeah.
Sorry, they got really expensive because
Uh,
Target would buy hypothyroidism because they don't care. Even though nobody goes to Target, they would just buy every single keyword.
okay.
There's so only so many searches that
Yeah.
are truly, you know, that people do versus so that's
Okay, so it's set up differently. Like it sounds like
the auction must be because I think with Google, and I'm getting way out of my realm, so I'm kind of, but basically, you know, Google, you're bidding on keywords.
yeah, got it.
Each keyword has a certain price.
Mm.
With with Facebook, you're bidding on the audience, and so you're just bidding on a certain you know, woman 25 to 35 who's
Yeah,
interested in hypothyroidism.
got it. Okay,
Just
that
the way
makes
that
a lot
their
of sense.
auctions are set
Okay.
up. But
Um,
whatever it is, you'll see if you participate. Just go in there and type in any keyword, and you'll see like all these like companies that just spend a lot of money.
so they drove
You
up
know, that have
the
nothing
price
to
so
do.
that and then the other thing you said is it's really better for people at the bottom of the funnel. And guys, what that means is they're like looking to buy, right? They're
They're ready to buy, and they already know what they're going to buy. Whereas a lot of people don't know. Like for instance, there are some, they even if they are hypothyroid, or like what's available to there.
Okay.
So Facebook and Instagram seem to be a much better place for people to build awareness, build their list, much
Okay.
better place, where Google is just a really expensive place to be.
Okay. All right. That's super interesting. One more question. This might be short or long. I'm
Mhm.
not sure, but um, well, how detailed can we get with targeting, targeting our ideal client?
Well,
It's a little, yeah.
it depends who your client is.
Okay.
Facebook is Facebook used to be like they have a lot of, and see, this is also what makes Facebook better than Google, is that you had all these interests that you could target other pages, thought leaders, you could target interests, you could target books, music, and it'd be very specific, people who like, Taylor Swift, or people who like Beyonce, or people who follow Oprah. And recently, they actually eliminated a lot of their targeting options.
Mm,
And it's a lot of it things to do, and it may not affect, but yeah, I guess some of it affects health and wellness. So, like, used to be able to target like mental health and depression, and those are no longer available.
oh, is that because of privacy?
I think so. I think so. I don't know entirely what's behind it. I mean, it may be, but there's a lot of it related to politics, religion, health, and wellness. So there just aren't as many specifics. But
Mhm.
but what you can do, and this is what we recommend, is if you can't get as detailed as you want, is we run ads that we call like phishing ads. And so you put, calling all women who are struggling with, hypothyroidism, or struggling with energy or brain fog, and you start attracting those people, and Facebook learns who is attracted to your message, and you're training Facebook, and so then they have a sense of who is interested in what you have.
Okay,
And
so
so
then
the
okay,
way
so
to kind of,
Facebook kinda catches on to
yeah, for
who's
sure,
responding to that message.
because they watch everything. If you have the pixel on your website, they know what's going on your website. They
Okay,
obviously know what goes on with your Instagram and Facebook followers. If you run ads, they start getting a better picture of who's attracted to what you're doing.
kinda
And
creepy, but
it's really creepy,
it's creepy, but if you're
but if you're a
so
business,
it is a good
it can be really helpful. Yeah. So
so it depends on, I guess, what side of the fence you're on there.
yeah, it is like but you know what? You have a phone, that your phone knows everything. So
Right.
it's the reality of modern
It's
society,
kind of yeah, yeah.
right?
The other day, it was so like, I think I was talking about how I want a green sweater, and I swear to God, I was seeing ads for a green sweater. Okay, so what is that
You
about?
were sure.
That
Because your phone, they say it doesn't, but your phone
I
listens. I mean, everybody
swear
has a,
I was
yeah,
like, "This is really bizarre because
yeah,
it's so specific," and all of a sudden yeah, it was
oh
weird
yeah,
on Google, and it was so
oh
bizarre.
yeah. Or like I am, yeah. So your phone listens. They watch it. Like a friend of mine, I remember this was a while ago, was inviting me to a July 4th party, and it was someone I didn't know. It was like a friend of a friend of a friend. And what did I see when I got onto Facebook? Oh, you know how they always have friend suggestions?
Yeah,
This was the person, the
uh,
person who's having the party. So
oh, that is just so
it's
weird.
just, yeah, they watch it all. And
Like, leave your phone in a box if you don't want
well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is they say it doesn't, and then Facebook, but then maybe Facebook buys the data, so they're not really listening, they couch it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Alright, one quick question. I don't know if you
right.
can answer this. So that's super creepy, but it's kinda nice if you're a business owner. But anyway, alright, quick question. I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, but a lot of my people are, create Facebook groups, right? And,
Right.
historically, one of the benefits to doing that and to getting a lot of interaction would be that Facebook would recommend your Facebook group to other people, right? Like, I get recommendations all the time. But my
Okay.
question is, didn't they change? Um, do they still recommend health-related Facebook groups? For some reason, I was thinking they stopped doing that, and if
Um,
that's true, because I was just curious. I thought they stopped doing that.
Maybe I don't know the answer. I could find out for you.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'd love to know the
okay,
answer because yeah,
okay, I
if
can
they
find out.
stop
See what.
doing that, it's kind of a bummer, right? But
Okay,
yeah, let me know. And then
okay.
let's
Deanna,
see. So do we have to be careful what medical words we use on a Facebook ad? Oh, that's a really, really good point.
question. Facebook used to be really strict. I know, like weight loss, and they were really strict about using the word you. And they've actually gotten a lot less strict about it. And so they do have their policies. So
Mhm.
if you read their policies, they'll tell you specifically if there's. I don't recall if there's like any health related like conditions or words you can't use. I know that they're really strict about marijuana and cannabis and hemp and alcohol and so and I know with like weight loss ads, you can't, there's certain images you can't use, but
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember they used to be
it
it
used to be
was
good.
almost impossible to
Now we can,
run ads, especially if you specialize in weight management. Like you could
but
say the
now
word
it's
weight. So
possible.
they've kind of told
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They're way,
okay,
way less strict.
that's awesome.
So, but to your point, Anna, what I would do is I would definitely be really familiar with their policies and their guidelines.
Mhm.
And then if you have a new ad account, I would run some ads to build up some credibility that doesn't have anything questionable in it.
Mhm.
And then I would so that you have a little credibility, and then you would run an ad with it. And maybe you just run like one word or two words just to see what. And if it gets rejected, never be afraid. It doesn't mean it's the last call. There are two things you can do: is you can submit it for review, and a lot of times on a requested review, they'll reverse it because it was just one of these bots, and sometimes the flags are high.
Okay,
But then if it doesn't get approved, you can go through a manual review.
okay,
It just depends. Not everyone has access to Facebook help, but there are people who can, like, for instance, I can get in touch with someone at Facebook and I can ask something to be reviewed.
okay,
It just depends on your ad account if the help section leads you to like a chat or an email where you can ask them to review it again.
okay,
A
that's
lot
good.
of times it get reversed. Yeah, and it is scary. Like you don't want your ad account to be shut down. But the best way to do, and it happens, and it can get reversed too. Like that's not a problem, especially if you're doing the right thing. But like if you run some ads to give yourself some credibility, it does reduce the risk of it or the tendency of it to be shut down. And if it does get shut down, you generally can get it back.
Okay. All right. All
So
right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up. Time flies, right, Kathy?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
we're
think I was like, are you able to talk for half an hour? And like, but we can always
like
talk lists and ads all day.
so anyway, this was great.
So,
I learned a ton myself as always, and really, I think that one of the big key takeaways is get going now, right? I
right,
really
right.
just want to nudge you guys into taking list building really seriously and
Yeah.
really like because I have people asking me that are launching in January and they're really like eyeball deep into the mechanics, all the emails, all of this, like all the details. And they're asking me, well, what, am I missing anything? And I'm like, we need to take a step back and
Right.
really focus on list building now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the recommendation. That's my suggestion. And I
Our
know
community.
Kathy
Yep.
agrees. Is there any other kind of final words of wisdom that you want to share, Kathy?
Just like once you get them on your list, don't let them, just keep nurturing them. And don't be afraid to just send an email. I mean, if you're just, just have so much on your plate and you don't, just send a link to, an article that you've read or just check,
Mhm.
just send them something. Just
Yeah,
keep yourself top of mind.
yeah, yeah. Just and really just kind of look at it. Just try to be of service. Right.
Exactly, exactly. Supportive of service. You always have a message around that, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be this Pulitzer Prize winning
No.
article or thought, and that's a lot of times if you set a high bar for, maybe you send out a couple emails and they're just awesome, and you've set this high bar for yourself, and you just feel like, ugh, anything I say won't measure up, and that isn't true. And I think to your point, like, messages of, anything where you're adding, anything you say is a value because you're being of service.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
don't be afraid to send out an email, but if you feel like, you know.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, I'm hoping that everyone on this live, are you guys all on my list? Because speaking of list building,
Exactly.
well, and the reason I ask is because if we're going to do a special workshop on this topic, I want to make sure that you get
Right.
the info. So, off the top of my head, let's
Do you
see.
want me
Okay,
to?
awesome, Hannah. Yep, great. So off the top of my head, I know this will get you to a little opt-in gift, lesliebitel.com/referrals.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, yay, Katie. Thank you.
Business planner.
All right, good. So you guys are on the list.
Yeah.
And then Kathy, where should we send people to find out more about you?
Uh, you can go to my website, kathylowknows.com. K-A-T, you want to drop it in?
LOW or
You got it.
LO?
Just
Yeah,
L-O,
I thought.
Kathy, and then knows, Kathy knows,
Me.
but, and
All
K-N-O-W-S.
right, cool.
That's me.
All right. KathyLowKnows.com. All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. So stay tuned. You've given me some renewed inspiration to get a workshop together. So I think that'll be awesome. Okay, Ellie, thank
Okay.
you. Thanks for joining us. It was really fun. Kathy,
Anytime.
awesome as always.
Thank you.
It's
It's always great to be here.
a treat to be able to connect with you. It's so much fun. And of course, you have
Likewise.
incredible knowledge around this. So thanks for sharing. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Awesome weekend. It looks like it's going to be gorgeous this weekend.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in most parts of the
The
country,
fall weather.
fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
And so I hope you all enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Bye for now.